Hansi Flick is turning Barcelona into an army. Indeed, what the German coach is implementing at Barca is a total revolution. Such preparation for the season has never been possible in history of the Blaugrana. Players recall Xavi's in-game activations with nostalgia, because now they only have the words work, faster, and harder. Part of the training took place at the US Naval base, and the players ran hundreds of thousands of kilometers in just under a month. While Opta estimates the Catalans' chances of winning the league title this season at only 10.3%, we are gonna change your mind. Here we go. It was obvious for everyone that Barcelona's preparations for the season would change under Hansi Flick. The most powerful project of the German specialist is Bayern Munich in the 2019-20 season, which repeated the incredible achievement of Barcelona in the 2008-2009 season. The sextet. That team was feared by absolutely everyone, and the most memorable was the 8-2 defeat of Barcelona. Perhaps that's when Joan Laporta started dreaming about Flick's arrival at Barca, eventually making his dream come true in 2024. Based on the new coach's first actions at Barcelona, a key restructuring became clear. More than 10 coaches have changed at the club, and the main focus is on physical training and player recovery coaches. Hansi gave a clear message: Barca's physical fitness must be better. Basically, this is how the training camp started. A lot of running work, a lot of exercises to develop the player's physique using a variety of equipment and simulators. Flick and his team are laying the foundation for the season and want to avoid slumps during the season. It's typical that after the recent El Clasico victory, Hans-Dieter was dissatisfied. We have to press for the whole 90 minutes. We have a lot to improve in our game, the coach said. Barcelona players now feel like they are in the army. Discipline, hard work, and a clear schedule for everything. From the hour at which a player has to wake up to the hour at which he has to call it a day. Special attention is paid to discipline. Barcelona journalists tell a story that one of the players was late for the morning training session, and Flick then brought this unnamed player to the center of the pitch and emphasized the importance of following the general rules in front of everyone. Indeed, with such strictness, don't you dare break the routine again. Hansi Flick is a monster of the right work mentality. In his training plan for the season, the German has introduced several innovations. The most interesting one is, of course, a week of training at the US Naval base in Baltimore from August 1st to 7th. Us journalist Javi Miguel explained why the new Barca coach chose this location among others. Why a naval base? No doubt, Flick could not have chosen a better place than a military facility to instill a culture of effort and sacrifice in his charges, the journalist writes. This military school was a source of inspiration for the screenwriter of the famous film An Officer and a Gentleman of 1982, which elevated Richard Gere as a top-notch romantic hero to the level of a film director. Gere played the role of a rebellious and conflicted young man, Zach Mayo, who aspires to enter the Naval Academy to become a pilot. Along the way, he meets an influential sergeant named Foley, who makes his life extremely difficult and puts him through more and more difficult challenges. But he successfully overcomes them. Let's hope that Flick won't be too harsh like Sergeant Foley. Barcelona held a total of 10 training sessions at this base, with 3 double training sessions. To make it easier for the players to recover, Flick has incorporated cryotherapy into their daily training program. This method of injury prevention involves the use of extreme cold to freeze and eliminate dead cells, as well as strengthen and tone tissue. The roles that Flick introduced in the locker room are also gradually becoming known. From day one, the German coach began to introduce a culture of effort and responsibility as the basis for understanding his philosophy of life and work. Flick pleasantly surprised the locker room by being an extremely educated person who is guided by very clear codes, which are basically summarized in a mantra: a footballer is a professional 24 hours a day. And Hans-Dieter has no favorites and play whoever deserves it most with their dedication. This is very much appreciated by all the players. Punctuality is another basic element in Flick's system. If you're late for a training session or a match, you don't get a financial penalty or any other sanction. According to the German coach, the worst punishment for a player is the fact that he has let the group down. Flick is a tough coach. If you don't fulfill team tasks, you can immediately lose your place on the pitch. Solidarity between the players is one of the most important principles of the German coach's teams, and that's why his teams are so cohesive. Flick is called a physics-obsessed. Almost all physical activity exercises are maximized by the fact that the coach adds a ball game to a particular exercise. And these can be clearly seen in Barcelona's training sessions, which the Catalans YouTube channel regularly posts. Hans-Dieter was also the first to bring back weight control since Luis Enrique. This means daily weighing, before and after a training session. Once the data is received, it is analyzed and adjustments are made to a player's plan to improve his performance. If a player exceeds the limits set within the ideal weight, he does everything to restore his perfect physical condition. Then the new Barca coach introduced another novelty that surprised everyone. Hansi Flick has included dental tests for all players in the medical tests. The club had never previously carried out oral examinations at the start of preseason, but this has changed now. And this is again an inside information from Javi Miguel. There are several studies linking injuries with oral problems, especially poor positioning of the teeth, because of which players are not able to chew food properly, which affects digestion and the nutrients that reach the muscles. As you can see, all the preparations are very serious and calculated to the smallest detail and really impress and inspire Barca fans, even despite the defeat against Monaco in the Gamper Cup, which could have happened against the backdrop of heavy physical exertion. The team did not look fresh and was heavy in the legs, and this is normal for Hansi Flick's teams at the beginning of the season. Most importantly, the players are excited about the innovations and see it as a way to improve both their game and team performance. The truth is that he is a very close coach to the players, and the youngsters have noticed his trust from day one. You can see that he is a very good coach. We are working very well tactically and physically. I think some improvements are already evident. Says Marc Casado, the Barcelona Joshua Kimmich. All coaches have their own philosophy and their own way of working. It's clear that with Hansi, the training is very tough. He emphasizes physical fitness, and it shows. The goal is to compete with the maximum intensity all the time, to be able to play 3 or 4 matches in a row, not just 2 or 3. And this is feedback from team captain Marc-Andre ter Stegen. From the very first minute, I told him that I want quality, intensity, and absolute concentration in the game, and they are applying it 100%, Hansi Flick says. One of the working goals that Hansi Flick wants to achieve with his new Barca is absolute participation in the collective method. From the first day of training, I really insisted on this. Physical training is important. You need to be in good physical shape, but also have knowledge in the technical and tactical aspect. This is all part of football. Football is much more than playing with the ball alone. For Flick, training comes first and is crucial to achieving the team's goals for the season. If you train at 80%, you will never be able to perform at 100% in a game. Training is important, and it's where you can improve. Training is focused on 100% intensity and demonstrating the quality you have with the ball. If we do everything we need to do, the victory will be closer, the German specialist said. That is how Hansi Flick is introducing completely new approaches at Barca. Some may like it, some may not. It is obvious that the new coach is rebuilding Barcelona into a football monster that will be able to play 3 or 4 matches a week if necessary. And this is the main difference from Xavi Hernandez's Barca. And even though the match with Monaco was a failure, it's only the preseason and it's too early to draw conclusions. The analysis of all these innovations should encourage every Barca fan to think that in time, the Blaugrana will be able to compete in the physical aspect with the biggest rivals, Real Madrid, which are famous for their physical training led by the genius Antonio Pintus. Perhaps Hans-Dieter Flick and his team of coaches will be the Pintus factor for Barcelona, which will bring the team to a completely new level, which will allow them to shock everyone in the new season. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it interesting and subscribe to our channel. Folks, if you want to know how Hansi Flick builds Barcelona's game, be sure to watch our analysis. Click on the video in front of you and enjoy! Build on it.